Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here at Firstpost America. We're live in Washington, D.C., and over the next few minutes, we'll take you from the United States and around the world, covering all the top stories of the day. But before that, here's a look at the latest headlines. China claims to have foiled 3 spying plots, including one where a public servant was lured by a foreign agent using so-called seductive beauty, as Beijing urges government workers to stay vigilant against overseas threats. South Korea holds interest rates at 2.5% as leaders grapple with soaring household debt and an unpredictable trade war that could see the country be hit with steep tariffs. Police in Armenia arrest 7 people associated with a pro-Russian opposition party as suspicion of terrorism. The move comes amid a wider government crackdown ahead of parliamentary elections. The Grand Chamber of the European Court upholds a 2023 ruling finding that double Olympic 800-meter champion Caster Semenya appealed to a Swiss tribunal over regulations that barred her from competing was not properly heard. And Amazon is reportedly weighing another multi-billion-dollar investment in Anthropic as the tech giant looks to deepen a strategic alliance that they hope will give them an edge in the global race to profit from artificial intelligence. We begin today in corporate America, where a fresh record on Wall Street, and this time it's Nvidia leading the charge. The Silicon Valley chip maker briefly touched the market value of $4 trillion on Wednesday, making it the first publicly traded company ever to hit that milestone. And in doing so, it became the most valuable company in the world. Nvidia shares jumped as much as 2.8% during the day, hitting a record high of $164.42. They later settled a bit lower, just under the historic threshold, but the symbolic milestone marked the peak of an astonishing rise. In fact, Nvidia is now worth more than the entire economies of the United Kingdom and France, a sign of just how central the company has become in the race to build the future of artificial intelligence. Now on the corporate leaderboard, Nvidia now sits ahead of both Apple and Microsoft, at least for now. Microsoft trails closely with a valuation of around $3.74 trillion, while Apple has slipped amid tariff concerns, currently valued at near $3.15 trillion. And it's being seen as a rapid climb for the chip-making company. Nvidia first hit $1 trillion in market value in mid-2023 and has more than tripled that since. Much of that growth comes down to investor confidence in artificial intelligence. The company's most powerful chips are in high demand, powering the data centers behind services for Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And now these chips are essential to train and run the complex models that are now driving everything from robotics to search engines. Now, despite being caught in the middle of a U.S.-China trade war and taking a $4.5 billion revenue hit from American restrictions, Nvidia still posted a revenue of over $44 billion in its first quarter. It also expects revenue to rise again in the second quarter with a target of $45 billion.
This is a historical day for Nvidia as the godfather of AI, Jensen, in terms of showing there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. That's Nvidia. $4 trillion. I think it's just a start. I think Microsoft's also going to join $4 trillion market cap club. And it's a tech bull market we expect the next few years, but it's all being led in the AI revolution by Nvidia.
But now that surge has not come without bumps. In fact, earlier this year, Nvidia lost $600 billion in market value in just one session as Chinese startup DeepSeek shook the AI world with a cheaper rival model. But the company bounced back fast from that decline, and since April, Nvidia stock has rebounded near 74%, boosted by fresh AI demand and its new Blackwell chips that are now being rolled out in advanced liquid-cooled systems designed to handle even more intensive computing tasks.
Look, Jensen is one of the best CEOs, not just in tech, maybe as a public company ever. That's why he's the godfather of AI. He sees forest through the trees, where the technology, where the innovation's going. Nvidia is not stopping here. They're miles ahead of the competition, but it comes down to there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. That's led by, in the black leather jacket himself, Jensen.
So with AI investments set to surpass $200 billion in the next 3 years and companies scrambling to integrate it across everything from manufacturing to finance, Nvidia's stock is firmly in the spotlight. And for investors, that $4 trillion milestone may just be the starting line. After Washington vetoed an Israeli plan to kill Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, a top Iranian official has now issued a new and chilling threat hinting at a possible assassination plot against the U.S. president.
Trump has done something that he can no longer sunbathe in Mar-a-Lago. As he lies there with his stomach to the sun, a small drone might hit him in the navel. It's very simple.
But President Donald Trump doesn't seem fazed, and when asked about the warning, he brushed it off with a smirk, saying it's been a while since he sunbathed.
Yeah, I guess it's a threat. I'm not sure it's a threat, actually, but perhaps it is. It's been a long time. Maybe when I was about 7. I'm not really into it.
Now, Iran's threat against President Trump is seen as a direct response to recent U.S. airstrikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites. These strikes have further inflamed tensions between the two nations, with Iran vowing consequences.
The U.S. military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state carried out with genocidal Israeli regime, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israeli regime, has once again revealed the extent of the United States' hostility towards the peace-seeking people of Iran, who will never compromise over their independence and sovereignty.
Now, even though Tehran had agreed to a Trump-brokered ceasefire with Israel and around 48 hours after the airstrikes, however, their retaliation has so far been limited. In fact, nearly 2 weeks ago, Iran launched a symbolic missile volley toward a U.S. airbase in Qatar, but reportedly gave advance notice allowing for both evacuation and interception. Now, this is not the first time Iran has been accused of plotting against President Trump. In fact, the Justice Department previously charged an Iranian operative and 2 alleged co-conspirators in November for allegedly working with Tehran to monitor and potentially assassinate the U.S. president. Even Iranian media and culture have played a role in these threats. In 2022, a state-sponsored animation contest named a short film showing President Trump being assassinated on a golf course as one of its winners. The competition encouraged entries under the theme of revenge for General Qassem Soleimani, who was killed in a 2020 U.S. drone strike authorized by President Trump during his first term. So while President Trump maintains that Iran is open to talks, Iran's newly elected president, Masoud Pezeshkian, has said that Tehran is open to dialogue with the United States, but trust would be an issue after the U.S. and Israel attacks on his country. And as the Middle East stands on edge and retribution looms, one thing is clear: this latest threat may not be the last. And staying in the Middle East, the Red Sea has once again become a theater of conflict. A commercial vessel, the Eternity Sea, has been sunk by Houthi rebels in a multi-day attack. The incident has left a trail of casualties, missing crew, and rising diplomatic tensions, with the Houthis claiming the ship was linked to Israel and the U.S. accusing the group of abductions. Concerns are mounting over the safety of one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. We have more from the region.
This is Eternity Sea, a Liberian-flagged Greek-operated bulk carrier that was transiting the Red Sea towards the Suez Canal. On Monday afternoon, it was attacked by Iran-backed Houthis about 50 nautical miles off Yemen's Hodeidah port. The attack allegedly began with sea drones, followed by rocket strikes from Houthi forces. The assault allegedly destroyed lifeboats and damaged the hull, leaving the vessel adrift and without power by Tuesday morning. But the strikes did not end there. The Eternity Sea was hit again on Tuesday, this time allegedly by another wave of sea drones, and by Wednesday morning, the ship had sunk entirely. Footage released by the Houthis showed the final moments of the Eternity Sea, the ship partially submerged, then vanishing beneath the waves, leaving behind a whirlpool and an oil slick. The Houthis claimed responsibility and said they attacked because the ship was headed to an Israeli port.
The naval forces of the Yemeni Houthi armed forces targeted the vessel Eternity Sea, which was heading to the port of al-Rashrash, Eilat, in occupied Palestine. The operation was carried out using an unmanned boat and 6 crews and ballistic missiles. The operation resulted in the complete sinking of the ship, and the event was documented with audio and video.
The Houthis claimed they want the ship and rescued several crew members after the strike.
After the operation, a special forces unit from the naval forces moved to rescue several members of the ship's crew, providing them with medical care and transferring them to a safe location.
But the US Embassy in Yemen disputes that count. It says the rebels kidnapped crew members after deliberately sinking the ship. The embassy called for their immediate and unconditional safe release. At least 4 of the 25 people were killed in the attack. At least 10 have been rescued from the sea after spending over 24 hours in the water. The fate of the remaining 15 crew members is still unknown. And as rescue operations unfolded in treacherous conditions, maritime security firm Diapolis released visuals showing some of the survivors being pulled aboard a rescue ship. The crew included 21 Filipinos, 1 Russian, and 3 armed guards. This is one of the deadliest incidents since the Houthis began targeting shipping routes in late 2023 in what they call support for Palestinians in Gaza.
The Yemeni Houthi armed forces affirm they will continue to prevent Israeli navigation in the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. They renew their warning to all companies dealing with the ports of occupied Palestine that their ships and crews will be targeted in any area within the reach of the armed forces, regardless of the ship's destination.
On July 6th, the Houthis carried out a similar attack, storming and sinking the Magic Seas, another Liberian-flagged ship with ties to Israeli ports. All crew were rescued in that incident. Shipping industry bodies have condemned this escalation, saying that these attacks show callous disregard for the lives of civilian seafarers. Meanwhile, ship traffic through the Red Sea continues to drop, and pressure is mounting on governments and naval forces to secure one of the world's most vital trade routes. So with crew members still missing and tensions rising, the Red Sea is turning into a stage for escalation, where merchant ships are caught once again in the crossfire of a conflict far bigger than them.
YouTube sensation Jimmy MrBeast Donaldson may be best known for giving away private islands and millions in cash, but now he's pitching for something else, the CEO job at X. Moments after news broke that Linda Yaccarino had stepped down from the role, Donaldson responded to a post about the vacancy with a playful offer, "I'll fill the role." However, the typo in his response didn't go unnoticed, with social media erupting in equal parts support and sarcasm. In fact, fans were quick to tag Elon Musk, urging him to make it happen. Critics mocked the spelling error, with one user writing, "Basic skill of a CEO is knowing the difference between role with a double L and role with an E." Another joked, "Elon won't trust you, MrBeast. You might give away X in your next video." Yet others rallied behind the YouTuber's business savvy and viral marketing instincts, sparking an unexpected campaign to put a creator at the helm of a tech giant. Now, this isn't a random gag either. In fact, back in 2022, the social media influencer tweeted asking if he could become Twitter's CEO. Elon Musk responded with the cryptic line, "It's not out of the question." And that old interaction has now resurfaced, adding fuel to the internet's newest obsession. But all this buzz stems from a serious shift in leadership at X. On July 9th, Linda Yaccarino officially announced her resignation as CEO of X just 2 years after taking the job. Her departure adds to a growing list of high-profile exits from Elon Musk's business empire. In a farewell note, Yaccarino wrote, and I quote, "After 2 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CEO of X." She praised the company's efforts to rebuild advertiser trust, develop new features like community notes and X Money, and position itself as a digital town square. However, her departure did not come with much fanfare from Elon Musk himself. In a single cold line, he responded, quote, "Thank you for your contributions," end quote. Now, even though no formal reason has been provided for her exit, industry experts point to a turbulent tenure marked by advertising losses, controversial policy decisions, and Elon Musk's unpredictable involvement. And one of the breaking points may have just come a day before her announcement when Grok, the AI chatbot developed by Elon Musk's X AI and integrated into X, shocked users with deeply offensive anti-Semitic replies. In one instance, it named Adolf Hitler as the ideal figure to address anti-white sentiment, and the fallout was both swift and ugly. Now, Yaccarino's sudden resignation has left a gaping hole at the top of X with no successor yet named, and Elon Musk's silence on the matter has only added to the mystery. So could MrBeast be next in line to lead one of the world's most chaotic platforms? And with Elon Musk, you can never be too certain about these things. And finally, Barbie's gone from dream house to reality check. And this time she's bringing her insulin pump along for the ride. After decades of peddling plastic perfection, Mattel has finally rolled out a Barbie with type 1 diabetes, hence proving that even in Barbie land, blood sugar matters. So grab your glucose tabs as well as your fashion sense, because this new doll is breaking stereotypes one polka dot at a time.
After decades of flaunting plastic perfection, zero body fat, and a wardrobe that screamed Malibu money, Mattel's most famous blonde has finally decided to get a bit relatable. Cue the applause or insulin pump, because Barbie now comes with type 1 diabetes. Barbie is now CGM-enabled, insulin-pumped, and ready to smash sugar stereotypes, all while still rocking a coordinated polka-dot outfit that somehow matches her glucose monitor, because even chronic illness, it seems, must be accessorized. The new doll is a part of the Barbie Fashionistas line, Mattel's ongoing attempt to shed its reputation as the reigning queen of unrealistic beauty standards. This time, she's not just walking a pink carpet, she's walking a medical journey too. And to really sweeten the deal, Mattel has also released a one-of-a-kind Barbie in the likeness of a British model and diabetes advocate. Her name is Leah Moss. She is the daughter of model Kate Moss.
It's completely surreal to have a one-of-a-kind Barbie doll of me with type 1 diabetes, and I think it's also so amazing that there's now a new type 1 diabetes mainline Barbie doll that people can buy and feel reflected by, and children can play with and see themselves represented in such a iconic Barbie doll.
The limited edition Moss Barbie is dressed in sleek all black because even when advocating for chronic illness awareness, fashion never takes a break. Meanwhile, the mainline Barbie is keeping it blue. Her skirt and top combo features a polka dot print in a deliberate nod to the blue circle, the universal symbol for diabetes awareness. She also comes with a cute baby blue purse, presumably stuffed with glucose tabs and fruit snacks. But don't be fooled, this isn't just a fashion-forward glucose crusade. Mattel teamed up with Breakthrough T1D, a global T1D research and advocacy group, to make sure the doll's medical gear is accurate, not just another chic plastic accessory. Additionally, Mattel UK donated over $27,000 to the cause on behalf of Lila Moss. Of course, this new doll is just the latest chapter in Mattel's redemption arc. After spending over 60 years shaping impossibly tiny waists, arching feet into unattainable ideals, Barbie's now trying to become an icon of inclusivity. In 2016, they launched a curvy Barbie with a wider waist. Then they launched Barbie with Down syndrome in 2023. And who can forget about the 2024 Blind Barbie? Then there was the first live-action Barbie movie, where Greta Gerwig yanked the Dreamhouse curtains wide open. Beneath all the pink perfection and synchronized hair flips, the film offered a wink-wink reality check that the real world isn't always glossy, and Barbie, for all her charm, might be a little plastic for it. So, is this a victory for inclusivity, or just another marketing moment in Mattel's perfectly packaged parade? Probably both. But there's still a long way ahead of us and Mattel. Barbie may be evolving. And sure, the messaging is forward, but it still lives in a dream house and is wrapped in plastic perfection. So, while intention is on point, the reality is still kind of impossible.
That's going to do it for us here at First Post America. We certainly thank all of you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you right back here again tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching.